Salutations, friends. This recording is being made in March 2026. That is, for context, a week after the imperialist forces of the West commenced their second campaign of terror bombing the population of Iran, but a week before the American invasion of Cuba. Wait, hold on, wrong page. Salutations, friends, and welcome to the first chapter of the Folk ARPS Book Club. Today's victim of analysis is Call of Duty 2, 2005. Roll the clips. First, some context. I played through this game over the course of 2 weeks, most of it on veteran, but switching to regular difficulty for Hill 400 and Terrain. Partially because I was bored with getting killed over and over, and partially because, well, the game is very clearly not designed for veteran difficulty. And I figured I should actually play the game as the developers intended. Lowering the difficulty was the right call at any rate, as it meant that I got to see the dynamic set pieces and have squad mates. Squad mates really are quite cool. They'll cover their flanks, advance as needed, and can sometimes help find the way in some of the more labyrinthine maps, which is good because the levels are often self-similar and cluttered, to the point where it can be hard to tell which of the nondescript buildings is the one that leads to the actual path. They have some flaws, of course. The stilted animations don't do a lot to disguise the very rigid scripted during the set pieces in particular and between the arenas in general, and oh my god, the roughly 20 times you need to just stand around waiting for an NPC to come open a door feel so bad. It's a handful of seconds spent standing around, waiting for them to decide when to open the door. The actual opening of the door is typically unexceptional, barring that one time a guy just gets fucking mowed down as he attempts to kick open a door. I'll admit that one was pretty good. There are a couple of missions where your guys are just coming in regularly in APCs, and I love that so much. It looks so cool. The resulting ebb and flow of the lines of battle are also just really fun to be in. It feels very chaotic. Looks very cinematic the whole time. When the AI works, it really does work. Movement and gunplay, though, is generally unremarkable. The high degree of inertia helps slow down the pace of the game quite well, but the accuracy of the AI doesn't seem to be influenced by your speed or your stance or anything, leading to me going prone exclusively to block line of sight, which feels like a waste considering how often we're asked to hold positions. Smoke grenades, meanwhile, are both absolutely vital and deploy much too slowly to be used in urgent situations. You have to deploy them well in advance of when you might need them, but the problem is that you don't get very many of them. And several sections that absolutely require you to have smokes will take place like 10 minutes into a mission, in which there are no obvious opportunities to restock, so you both can't afford to waste them, and the game can become instantly impossibly difficult if you don't use them liberally well ahead of when you might need them. There is a decent degree of variation in the action itself. The most compelling infantry bits probably in the house clearing, especially in some of the more crowded maps, and in the ones with multiple objectives. And while it is funny to me that you can hide in a corner for most of the time-based defense missions, the rolling retreat in the D-Day mission is actually really fun, and I'm sad they only do that once. One of my favorites was actually the part where you crawl around a pipe in Stalingrad. You get a series of elevator source style vignettes where you can choose to interact. And by interact, I mean shoot at Nazis. You also get to play with a fair few toys, of course. The Crusader mission is really fun and lasted exactly long enough for me to have my fill without getting bored with it. And there's a section where you're a turret gunner, and that, thankfully, ends with you running over a landmine. Giving the player a chance of controlling these machines of death and destruction is pretty neat, and it allows the game to indulge in telling you all about the cool stuff that we made exclusively to kill our fellow man. It did genuinely make me laugh out loud when, at the end of Hill 400, a guy points up and goes, "We're saved! Those are P-51 Mustangs!" It's such a funny thing to exclaim, made no less so by the fact that the guy next to him is like, "P-51 Mustangs? What are those?" I love a game that encourages curiosity, and There are a fair few such sections where specific gear, places, and events are name-dropped in a manner that can't help but remind me of the fact that the History Channel has a proud involvement in this project. The game does its absolute best to portray the horrors of war, and to its credit, you very rarely feel like the hero in this particular story, or these particular stories, as it would be. Though the cutscenes do get particularly laughable, as the survival time of anyone in your field of view can usually be counted on one hand. The sound design, unfortunately, often falls flat. The restrained use of music is generally a good call, but the lack of variation in weapon sounds and barks means that the soundscape never quite feels full, made worse by the gaps in the action caused by the large amount of time the various AI spend simply hanging around. I quite enjoyed my time with this game, though I do find myself wishing they hadn't spread all their good ideas quite so thin. This good 8-hour game could have made a phenomenal 3-hour game. Yeah, it's still happening, huh? Oh my god. I'm not running out of death videos for a... Jesus Christ. Yeah. Yep, it do be like that. No, the top left one has gotten into the part where I'm in regular. You can tell because it takes a while to die. There's like 12 people shooting at me to kill me, and yet they still manage. Oh, there he goes. God, the mortar mission was so bad. Like, I was sleep deprived. I recognize that. Oh shit, we're coming up on the end. There we go. All right, excellent. Time for the actual clips with sound. Bye.
Just keep your eyes on the road, Private. Man down! Stay close! Potato masher, run! Come ahead, you Jerry Cow! Boxes! Northeast! Tree! Cover me, I gotta reload!
It did genuinely make me laugh out loud when, at the end of Hill 400, a guy points up and goes, "We're saved! Those are P-51 mustache!"